Prime Minister Matrika Prasad Koirala's government assassinated Bhimdatta Panta, a peasant warrior, on Bikram Sambat 2010, Shravan 17, and hanged his head on a bamboo on 18th Shravan. Bhimdatta, who was active in the 2007 revolution, was sentenced for speaking out against the Delhi Accords and speaking out in favor of poor farmers. Prime Minister Matrika Prasad Koirala had sent Indian troops to Nepal to suppress Bhimdatta's revolt. After all, what was the revolt of Bhimdatta Panta? Bhimdatta Pant was born as a son of father Taranath and mother Saraswati Devi in 1983 BS, 10th of Mangshir in Karigaon of Dareldura. Pant, who lost his mother at the age of 5, spent his childhood in Karigaon. Her stepmother, Tulsi Devi, played the role as his mother. He was later sent to study in the boarding Indian lands of Singhai under the protection of his relatives. Pant got married to Parvati Devi at the age of 11. Even though Bhimdatta gave birth to 2 sons and a daughter, no one survived. At that time, the flame of freedom struggle was burning in India. Bhagat Singh was one of the protagonists of Young Indian, while Dashrath Chand's hanging had caused a stir in Nepal. Bhimdatta, who had a rebellious nature, was affected by that. Bhimdatta had passed matriculation from Singhai. Bhimdatta's father had died while he returned home after matriculation. Only after his father Taranath passed away, he found out that his farm was on mortgage. The rich landlords were not only shocked by Bhimdatta's rebellious nature on the one hand, but Bhimdatta also wanted to destroy rich landlords' social status and to free his own farm. The rich landowners did not believe that Bhimdatta would sell his farm and pay the price instead of being insulted. Bhimdatta paid rupees 600 at that time in the name of loan that was taken by his father, but still the loan was not cleared. He could not bear that injustice no more. By that time, he had become popular in the village as a social reformer, education conscious, and anti-injustice hockey youth. When the poor, the Dalits, started looking at him with hope, he slowly becomes enemy with rich landlords. Panta could not bear the loss of his father and the injustice done in the name of loan payment. To continue his studies, he goes to India in 2001 BS, leaving his wife and his stepmother. The heat of the movement in India then increases and he left his studies and jumps into the Indian freedom struggle and gets arrested and spent 18 months in Allahabad jail. After his release from Indian prison, the politically conscious Panta returned directly to Nepal. Bhimdatta played an important role in the field of Dareldura's education development and social change. They had declared an end to untouchability by eating at the homes of Dalits. Bhimdatta Pant had a good knowledge of Gita and Marxism. Bhimdatta joined the Nepali Congress from Kanchanpur during the 2007 revolution. In September 2007, the Nepali Congress declared an armed revolution against the Rana regime at the Bairagania Conference. The Congress had declared Matrika Prasad Koirala as the supreme commander and formed an armed group called Mukti Sena. The Congress had deployed leaders in 13 fronts to seize power. The responsibility of Kailali Kanchanpur front was given to Rajeshwari Prasad Upadhyaya. According to the party's plan, a team of Salvation Army led by Chandraveer Singh or CB Singh had reached Gauri Panta. Mukti Sena team comprising CB Singh, Gaurilal Kunwar and Rup Singh Sijapati had captured Kannari Chowk in Kailali on Mangshir 12, 2007 BS and Dhangari on Mangshir 26, 2007 BS. After the capture of Dhangari, the Mukti Sena assassinated Grand Governor Maikar Devnarayan Singh Tharu. The Salvation Army had taken control of Belaru in Kanchanpur on January 25th. After Belari, the Mukti Sena captured Brahmadev Mandi. Bhimdatta had joined the team of Roop Singh, Sekhar Sharma and Gauri Lal, who had marched from Brahmadev Mandi to capture Doti, Dadildhura and Baitadi. The news of Bhimdatta's arrival to capture Dadildhura woke up the local feudal lords. The Mukti Sena army captured Dadildhura on 26 Pus 2007 BS. Meanwhile, the local landlords lodged a complaint with Commander Roop Singh against Bhimdatta, falsely accusing him of looting Mohan Singh house. Unaware of the rich landlords' conspiracy, Roop Singh decided to take action against Bhimdatta. At the same time, Roop Singh asked a Damai to play a bulls before he was sentenced to death. After that, local Brizlal Joshi said that Bhimdatta should not be sentenced to death as he was a Brahmin. Eventually, after Bhimdatta was found not guilty, Roop Singh withdrew his action against him. After the incident, the Mukti Sena went to Doti. Bhimdatta was also in the team. The Mukti Sena captured Doti on 2nd March 2007 BS and declared Shivraj Pant as the governor. After Doti, the Mukti Sena captured Baitadi on 23rd March. After that, Bhimdatta was made the governor of Dadildhura by the Mukti Sena army. Meanwhile, in Phagun 2007 BS, an agreement was reached between the king, Rana and the Congress in Delhi, and the Nepali Congress announced the suspension of the armed revolution, but Bhimdatta continued his activities in opposition to the Delhi agreement. He did not like the behavior of the Congress after the political changes of 2007. He protested against the government formed with Rana, saying that the revolution was not complete. He left Congress politics in protest of the 2007 Delhi Accords. Then he joined communist politics. The movement of 2007 brought an end to the Rana rule in the country. However, the rule and feudal system of the bigwigs remained in the society. It was customary to take interest on paddy and mustard seeds given to the poor by rich landlords of the society. Bhimdatta himself became a victim of the Tamsuk scandal or that loan paper. He did not like such social evil. He thought of closing it. He started looking for an opportunity to revolt. As soon as he got the chance, he spread rumors all over the village. I will burn the Tamsuk or loan paper of other people of my own house first. Then I will burn the Tamsuk of everyone's house. The news that he had burnt his own Tamsuk spread from village to village. At the same time, rumors were circulating that they were searching every house and punishing anyone that kept loan paper in their house. Due to the rumors, many thugs and feudal lords were tearing up and burning the fake loan documents out of fear of him. Due to the message that fake loan paper should not be written in this way, the people became more and more in favor of Bhimdatta. He brought his friends from the so-called low caste to his house and made them eat and drink with him. His work was very inspiring for the betterment of the society. However, the then rich landlords and feudal lords became angry with Bhimdatta and began to oppose him. After 2008 BS, Bhimdatta left the Nepali Congress and joined the Nepal Praja Parishad. Govinda Prasad of Nepal Praja Parishad had given the membership of the party to Bhimdatta and gave him the responsibility of expanding the organization in Kailali Kanchanpur and Doti Dadildhura. After returning to Dadildhura, Bhimdatta, who had been living in Brahmadev Mandi, came in contact with Indian Marxist leader Krishnaswamy Iyengar and became close to communist ideology. He believed that the last revolt will be a farmers' revolt. The armed peasant revolt started in the late 2008 with Kailali, Kanchanpur and Dadildhura as the center. The armed peasant revolt started by Bhimdatta at the center of Kailali, Kanchanpur and Dadildhura in late 2008 in a short period of time overwhelmed the feudal lords, landlords and the government. They started to take action against those who evicted the farmers and exploited them. rich landlords were made to eat in the kitchen of the Dalits. The rich landlords who were upset by this behavior called him crazy. Later, Bhimdatta himself used to introduce himself to the rich landlords as Crazy Panta. When there was an ideological rift with the Congress, he stopped saying Jai Nepal and started saying Jai Janata. In some places, action was also taken against people who says Jai Nepal. He used to say, "What I'm doing now will happen tomorrow. Therefore, unjust atrocities should be stopped from today." His revolution was not limited to protesting and taking action. The poor must be organized. Grains should not be wasted. Production should be increased. Unnecessary expenses should be reduced. Awareness campaigns were also launched on the issue that would spoil the nature. The area slowly came under the control of farmers. If the movement to tear the loan documents continued, those who caused misery to the people without tearing the loan documents became the target of the movement. His campaign against the quota system of Brahmadev Mandi, excess of custom contractors, collision of contractors and employees touched the feeling of the people, while strong action against Subba Joydev Bandhu, Ditta Dharma Singh Rawal and Subedar Jograj intensified the movement. Slogans such as "Give me bread, clothes, or leave the throne," "Poor peasant rule," exploitative feudal moralism began to spread. Bhimdatta disobeyed the government's directive to stop the activities. Finally, in 2008 BS, the security force led by Major Siddhi Ganesh Manandar reached Dadildura and took Bhimdatta under control. From there, Bhimdatta was sent to Kathmandu prison via Doti and Dhangari. After finding not guilty, Bhimdatta was released from jail. Bhimdatta returned to Dadildura after being released from Hanuman Doka jail, Kathmandu in Push 2009. Influenced by the peasant movement in eastern Terai at that time, Bhimdatta later made peasant liberation the main agenda of his revolt. Panta opponents and family problems grew, but he did not deviate from revolution. No one liked him speaking in favor of the poor and eating in the house of Dalits. At the same time, everyone gathered at the Bisu Mela in Dadildura on 2nd Baisakh 2009 with the slogan of fighting against injustice. An order was issued to the rich landlords of the village to attend the meeting. All the rich landlords were made to drink water from the hands of Dalits. At the same time, Bhimdatta got the news that the custom officials had created an artificial shortage of salt in Brahmadev of Kanchanpur for black marketing. After that, Bhimdatta reached Brahmadev, took control of the customs and distributed salt to the people. In that incident, Ditta Dharma Singh Rawal was tied in a sack and thrown into the Mahakali river. On the day people received the salt, he was given a grand welcome by the poor people. Therefore, the governor of Kailali, Dhairya Samsher, was planning to arrest Bhimdatta. At the same time, Bhimdatta and Krishnaswamy Iyengar, who were in Brahmadev, were arrested while sleeping at night and taken to Dhairya Samsher. From there, Iyengar was handed over to India and Bhimdatta was sent to Belauri jail. Bhimdatta escaped from Belauri jail on Asar 10, 2010 BS. He then met Nara Bahadur Bohra, Garvu Rana and Muli Pradhan and planned an armed revolution. Muli, Garvu and other youths rushed towards Dadildura with loaded guns. After the jailbreak, the local administration issued a warrant on Bhimdatta's name. After that, Bhimdatta appeared on Dadildura Gonda. On the same occasion, Governor Mohan Bahadur Singh arrested Bhimdatta and his associates and sent them to Belauri jail. Bhimdatta, who was taken to Jog Buddha during Belauri jail, escaped again. After that, Bhimdatta went ahead with the plan of armed movement. Bhimdatta organized ex-Indian troops in Alital, Gangkhet and other villages and trained the youth. After taking action against merchant Paramananda Panta at Budar, Bhimdatta reached Brahma along with his forces. In Brahmadev, Bhimdatta tied Subba Joydev, Ditta Dharma Singh Rawal and Subedar Jograj of the custom and threw them to Mahakali River. After the capture of Brahmadev customs, Bhimdatta and his team of fighters proceeded to capture Belauri via Suda of Kanchanpur. While moving forward, Bhimdatta got the news that a constable and a police officer were harassing the locals in the village called Bursa. Later, both the constable and the police officer were killed in the operation of Bhimdatta's fighters. On 24th Asar 2010 BS, Bhimdatta's armed force captured the mall, police station, bank and Goswara in Belauri. Frightened by Bhimdatta's revolt, Prime Minister Matrika Prasad Koirala arrived in Delhi on 4th Shravan 2010 BS for military assistance. At the request of Prime Minister Matrika Prasad Koirala, the Indian Army entered Nepal to quell Bhimdatta's revolt. Chief of Army Kiran Samsher was in Bareilly to coordinate with the Indian Army. Due to heavy rains, Bhimdatta stopped at Badhya village in Kailali along with the fighters. While the fighters were eating there, Bhimdatta got the news that the Indian Army had arrived in the forest near the village. There was a fierce battle between the team of Bhimdatta's fighter and the Indian Army for 5 or 6 hours. The Indian Army surrounded Bhimdatta's fighters on 3 sides. Seeing the damage, Bhimdatta instructed everyone to flee from the north, but not everyone was able to escape. Only a few allies, including Bhimdatta, managed to escape. 2 Indian soldiers and 2 of Bhimdatta's fighters were killed during the clash. 52 of Bhimdatta's fighters were injured. The Indian Army arrested 272 people and handed them over to the governor of Nepal. After the clash with the Indian Army at Bihada, Bhimdatta, Khingwa Karki, Bahadur Khatri, Bir Bahadur Khadayat and Mohan Singh Shetty reached Budar. Bhimdatta, who stayed underground for 2 or 3 days in Budar, moved to Galek from there. From Galek, Bhimdatta sent Bahadur Khatri and Khingwa Karki home. After some time, he sent Mohan Singh Sethi to Dadel Dura. However, Mohan Singh Sethi, who reached Dadel Dura, was arrested. After Mohan Singh said that Bhimdatta was in Budar, after the extreme torture of the security personnel, a team of Lal Bahadur Thapa, Karna Singh Deuba, Tap Bahadur and Bhimwa Dayal reached Badar in search of Bhimdatta. The government had announced a reward of rupees 5,000 for those who bring Bhimdatta alive or dead. So, Lal Bahadur Thapa's team was interested in the assassination of Bhimdatta. Reaching Budar, Lal Bahadur had deceived the people by saying that he was Bhimdatta's friend and had come to save him. On 17th Shravan 2010 BS, Lal Bahadur Thapa had found the house where Bhimdatta was staying after threatening a local woman. Then Lal Bahadur and Tapta Bahadur entered the house where Bhimdatta was staying. As soon as he saw Bhimdatta eating, Lal Bahadur fired at him. Then Tapta Bahadur fired a second shot and killed Bhimdatta. After the murder, Bhima Dayal had beheaded Bhimdatta Panta. Then Lal Bahadur's team reached Dadel Dura overnight carrying Bhimdatta's head. On reaching Dadel Dura, Lal Bahadur handed over Bhimdatta's head to Governor Mohan Bahadur Singh. Governor Singh demonstrated by hanging the head of Bhimdatta Pant on a bamboo in front of Dadel Dura Goswara on 18th Shravan. This is what happens to those who betray the country and those who betray the state, was written under the head. After hanging his head in public demonstration, Governor Mohan Bahadur Singh gives a reward of rupees 5,000 to Lal Bahadur Thapa for killing his own friend and handing over his head. Upon hearing that her husband had been beheaded, Bhimdatta's wife Parvati reached out to Governor Singh. When she asked for her husband's head for the funeral, Bada Hakim Singh rebuked Parvati. Finally, after signing 31 conditions, Bada Hakim Singh gave the head of Bhimdatta to Parvati Devi. Pant's head was cremated by Dharmadev Pant, Siddharaj Pant, Shivraj Upreti, Sov Skarki and Farkine Damai near Gathaltan. Veteran Bhimdatta, who sacrificed his life for the liberation of the poor and peasant, was truly a leader of the people. He was killed by the Nepalese government for speaking out on behalf of the poor peasant. During the agitation, not only his two sons, Prem Raj and Leela Raj, but also his daughter Reva died. Being involved in the revolution, Panta could not devote time to household chores. All the rich landlords were against him. His life was always in danger. Wife Parvati Panta was in charge of the house. He had two sons. The eldest died at the age of 5 and the youngest at the age of 2.5. He still continued his revolution. After the death of their two sons, he remarried to the daughter of Mahata Chetri at the request of his wife Parvati Panta. The youngest wife gave birth to a daughter. Her daughter also died at the age of 7 or 8. Bhimdatta Panta was declared a martyr by the government on 11 Fagun 2072 BS. He was beheaded on BS 2010 Shravan 17. Panta, who launched the Tamsuk Chat Bahakari Food campaign with the slogan Thalu Khana Alu, Garib Khana Basmati, is an important rebel name included in the history of Nepali peasant movement. Thank you.